Welcome to OfficeSweeet demonstration. If you're watching this video, you may be searching for a good accounting system, a CRM, dispatch, and scheduling system, or something to manage your inventory. But just keep in mind that OfficeSweeet is different than what you might be used to seeing, whereas it has been designed to organize your business. Yes, we offer those and many more features, and that is the very reason why you are here with me today. However, we approach things a little differently. OfficeSweeet was designed with the future in mind. More and more businesses are becoming more mobile and decentralized, so they need a system that is completely digital with access from anywhere. So let's check it out together. Now we see here that says OfficeSweeet Demo, so this is a demo system, but that's where your business name would be like this. Okay, so let's go ahead and log in and see what we have. Now, typically what we're doing is we're in business and dealing with people. I mean, that's just the way it is. It's a business about relationships. Okay, so we have several different relationships that we have, and then we have clients or our customer base, and we have our prospects, the people that we don't do business with yet. We also have our vendors, the people that we buy in goods and services from, and we have our team or our staff. Now, the way OfficeSweeet was designed is to have a teamwork in mind, and that is to have the entire staff have access to the system. And before you feel like that's crazy, understand that this has been developed with the idea that every person that has access to OfficeSweeet can only go where the management wants them to go. Everybody. So the only person with full access is the owner for the most part, but they can also, of course, grant access to other people in the business. So if we look at each one of these, the idea being that we want to organize our relationships with them. When we look at the prospects, those are people that we typically work with when we're using a client relationships management system. So if we just take one of these and take a look here, we'll see that as far as being organized, we store a lot of information here about our relationship. When we're introduced, what their budget is, what they're looking for, all this information here. We have then a series of tabs where we have even more information. So we have whether they've been on the schedule, we have past and future, and we have everything. So we don't, there we go, there's an office meeting with this person. And we have different various notes that are created and logged by date. We have documents. Emails sent, signing requests for electronic documents, quotes, where we can email a quote to this prospect. Transactions, they won't have that, but you can see we have areas where we can save a lot of information. And since they're a prospect, we want to make sure that we follow up on and keep track of that. So it's very easy. We just click here, and we can say follow up with them next month, say by the 10th. And we can just add that to the schedule and then say he was interested in starting soon. So you can put a little note in there and you can save it to anybody on your staff schedule here. So you just save that and it's got puts to the schedule very simply. So if you want to do a little bit of marketing, it's very simple. We have, you can market to anybody in your contacts. We go over here and you can see that we can set up a group email. And we set up a template here. The contacts type, we can hit prospects. We can categorize them. There's a way to categorize people in any which way. You custom categories, whatever you want. You type in a subject here. And then you just push the send button when you have these selected. So you can just select all of them. If you wanted, you just want to take somebody out of there, you can do that too. So you have full control over it. When you push the send button, it notifies you who it's going to, and then you can look at the sent status and you can see whether or not it's delivered and other things, whether or not there's been problems. Now, how do you create the templates or the emails? Well, you come in here and you just create one like this here. It's just a simple email that telling about a special they're having this month, or you can send newsletters and anything you like. So the way it works is after you invoice them for the very first time, they become a client. So let's go over to clients. So let's take a look at Mary Poppins here. So here we can see the same layout and all the data is here. What's different is now there will be transactions, and we'll see that there will be invoices here. Now, anytime there's a transaction, that information automatically flows into what we call a journal here. This is where all of the transactions, that is all your expenses and all your income, are recorded. And it's very convenient. It's very nice because you can actually look and see how many deposits and expenses you have. You see your beginning balance, your ending balance, and you have full control of all these things here. You can look at, see the details here. You can put notes in here. So it's a very nice and simple way to keep track of all the money that's coming in and going out of your business. All right, so let's go see what it looks like to make a sale. Open up a client, and we can do what's called a quick sale or point of sale, POS, here pretty easily. We can just open that up. But let's go ahead and create an invoice. Let's do that first. So we go ahead and add some items here. We're going to sell this air conditioning unit here and a few of these products. We're going to add that to the quote. We're also going to, obviously, we're going to be doing an installation, so we're going to add that to the quote as well. So we have this one air conditioner, some cabling, we have some flexible ductwork, and then we have 4 hours of installation, and that adds up over here. So let's go ahead and save that as an invoice. And here's what it tells us. It tells us that this is the entire job cost to the client. This is what it costs the company, and this is a potential profit. So we have here, we don't carry this air conditioner in stock, so we're going to create a PO for that. And we had 12 items removed from stock and 20 from this one here. So that's the items in stock, so it takes care of your inventory. And then down here, it just itemizes the installation. So we'll go ahead and process that. You can see from doing that, we have everything that adds up here. It shows all the details, the tax and everything. And we can go ahead and look at that purchase order. So there we have our purchase order for this 5-ton 16-SEER air conditioning unit. All right, so that's already done. So now that that's saved, we're just going to go back to the client and take a look. And here's our invoice here. So, and immediately you can go ahead and just press the button at the bottom of the page and email it. And what's really cool, when they do get it, they have the option to just pay the invoice right from the email. They just click on it, put their credit card information in, push a button, and boom. So no more waiting to get paid. So they get done with the job. And the nice thing about the quick sale, the point of sale, right on the job, they can go ahead and say, well, geez, you know what? I forgot about this copper pipe, so we need some of that. So we're going to add that to it. And we needed, actually, we used 4 feet of that. You know, client's going to have to pay for that. So we can get a cash or check or credit card or something right on the job. Take a check, and you can put any comments here, parts we added to the job, save the changes. Because you're on the job, you just go ahead and say, just email a receipt, and be done with it. Okay, so we talked about getting paid. Let's talk about paying things. How hard is it to pay our vendors? So let's go to a vendor here and pick one. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to, when you get the actual invoices in, we can go ahead and add them to the print queue. And I'll show you how that's done. So you put in whatever date they're due. It could be due like, you know, next month or whatever. And you put the amount in. And we put in that there's, this would be for building supplies. Okay, and then we can add it to the expense category and whatever we want to save it to. And we can put, you know, say the Jones job. So you can put any kind of notes that you want in here. And I find that particularly useful because oftentimes I go back and look at my journal and I can't remember what I sent a check for exactly. So it's always nice to be able to add comments. So we're just going ahead and add that to the print queue. So every invoice you get, you can just add it to the print queue, to add it there, and it stores it nice and neatly in here. And you can write the check whenever you want. So you pull out a check and you can put, say we wanted to write that one, and we put in the check number. There we have it. So we just print only this check. We see the check there, and it's printed for that window envelope, so it fits right in there very easily. And of course, that would be your check would show your return address and everything. So it shows right on there. And we go ahead and just press print. And if it didn't come out right, well, you just do it again. There's no harm done. When it does come out right, you just mark it as being printed. And check has been marked as printed and now appear in the journal. That's all there is to paying bills. Okay, last but not least, we would like to talk a little bit about the relationship that's probably the most important one of all of them, aside from your family, is your team or your staff. So let's take a quick look at that, and we'll open this one up here. So we can see we have some of the basic information right up front here. We have room for any particular documents, email documents, or uploaded files, any notes that we did. We'll come back to login management in a minute. We have any checks you paid to them, a timesheet, as you can actually easily log in and out, clock in and clock out. So it keeps track of that. Receipts, any compensation information. We, of course, have the privacy lock there, and we also have here the amount of commission paid on products and services, any billable hours that are accumulated by this person, and all these will go into the client's account too, and in a full training program here where you can add training modules and have access to them, and they even show certificates of completion. Let's go back to login management here briefly. As you can see, when I click this button here, we've got about 20 different permissions, a little bit more because some of these have some multiples here. But if we look at it, you can actually steer anybody in the right direction. When you turn any of these things off for a particular employee or team member, they won't even see the link, so it's impossible for them to get there. And this is one little safety measure too. If somebody goes rogue on you, you can always click this button, disable login, and they can't get into the system anymore. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the scheduler. Okay, we think this is it's pretty cool because it's very interactive, and this is kind of what it looks like in one of the views. We call it the team view because it shows people on your team, so to speak. We have many other different views. We have a month view, last list of the week, and week views. My favorite is a week view, but the team view is nice if you want to see where everybody is, like for somebody who's doing dispatching. So, and it's very easy to place something on somebody's schedule. So let's go ahead and do a meeting with the client and place it on this person's schedule right here at this particular time. So which client is it? Well, you double click it and you go to links. We come here and say, for instance, it was with Mr. Baker. So we type a couple letters and we have them in there and send an email to this person. And we set that reminder since that's, well, this is for January 23rd. But you set the reminder for an earlier date like this. And then when you save it, basically what it's going to do is going to send an email reminder to that person. Another thing that happens, this person's I put it on Mason Smith. As you notice here, it says here, notify user. We just click that and it sends them a message. Actually, it's a notification that will either go to their desktop and show up here under notifications. So it says here, new appointment. So, you know, that's not it, but it's how it would look. If we, this notifications are handy for things like if you put a new task on somebody's, in somebody's schedule, or if you ran out of inventory. So those notifications are nice. This is actually our communication system here, where we can actually write a subject here and send it to anybody on the staff. And when you do that, you just basically have a window pops up and you can SMS message back and forth. And the system keeps track of that. So that's very cool too. Another nice thing about the schedule is that when you put a note in here, so you had a meeting on that particular day, and you put a note in here and you could put it in your phone and actually voice it in and say, meeting went very well, and Alan is very happy with our system, and he's going to refer two other people to us, or whatever you want to put in there. So you just leave it there, and then you save it. And so you're out in your field, and you leave that message in there at the end of the day. That will automatically populate this person's, Alan Baker's, notes. So you don't even have to transfer that information over. So it's great for dispatching because you can move it to a different time, and then you can double click it and notify the user. They get a notification that's been changed. It's very flexible. If you want to extend the time in one particular one, you just grab it and do that. It's very easy to do. So it's a very malleable schedule, if you will. Also, if you have a whole lot of people on your staff, you can go to this department filter and you can go ahead and filter some people out of there. And then one other thing too is these draggable events, these here, are all user definable. So you can see they're all listed right here. If you want to add a new one, you just put in here, new appointment, whatever. You add that, and that gets put on there, and you put the amount of time. You can make it just so it's just as 30 minutes if you wanted to. So you can see it defaults to that. And then we have one last slot here. That's for everybody, sort of like staff meetings and that. So that's the schedule. Right, depending on your business, you might find this very helpful. We call it the task manager or project manager. So you just go ahead and choose somebody on your staff and you add a new task. So you put the task name in here. And then you put a description, and then you can actually voice that in if you're on your phone. But we're going to do this, that, and the other thing. You're going to explain the whole thing. You can click on create a status. You can write in any status you want. You can put a due date in there. We can just call this important. And you actually put a deadline in here. So we can go ahead and go forward, say another month. Say that's due by the end of the month. So we have it there. And then you're going to basically put an hour here and say it's at 10 o'clock or so. And just done. And you save it. And there you have it. And when it's done, you can mark it as complete. Now you'll only see it under complete. All right, very briefly, let's talk a little bit about the payroll. You'll see how that works. It's very simple to do. You have your employee here. It shows the amount of hours they worked during that week because they clocked in and clocked out. You can put a comment in here if you like, and you can add another line item to make an adjustment up or down, and whether it's taxable or not. And when you're done, you just save it. And if you don't want that item, you can just take it off. And when you save it, we're good. So then we just walk down this list here. Each one, you go through each one, and when you're done, you finalize the payroll for the period, and that gets all sent off to create the checks. Okay, so let's briefly talk about inventory. It's quite easy. You click this button here, and it shows you that these are items taken from stock. We can add and view inventory stock here, add view services, and we have assets and liabilities overview there. So let's just go ahead and show you how we're going to add one for personal use. So we put in here that the vendor is the company itself, and then we're going to go ahead and just call it paper towels. And we can say that it costs 98 cents. Basically, it's what we don't charge anything for it because we're not going to resell it. It's not taxable, and it's not for resale, for company use only. What we want to say is we got 12 in stock, reorder level when we get down to 6, and we want 20 of them, and we'll save that. Okay, so we have the paper towels here. When somebody uses them, they can click here and say they use this product. Click it. When it gets down to the 6, it gets reordered. Now if we go over here, we can see that we assign somebody an inventory manager. We have the sales tax plugged in here, and we can add all kinds of products here. And we can add services on this end here. And we add our assets and liabilities over here. And that's all there is to it. It keeps track of it for you, and then of course you go to reporting, and you can look at product reports, inventory reports. Okay, I know it's been a lot of information so far, and we're just about done. There's one more system that is very important to talk about, and it's document management. Now, you've seen a little bit of it. So we look at a particular client, and it could be a client or a vendor or employee or anything, but you see all these little tabs, and where we put in, we have documents here, but we have notes. So it's maintaining all these documents in a digital way. As I talked about in the very beginning, that's where things are moving. Getting away from the file systems because they can only be accessed by one person at a time, and you got to be right there. So like if you're on a flight and you have Wi-Fi on your flight, you can actually do business on your portable device or your smartphone while you're in an airplane. I mean, how cool is that? So that's a little bit about the document management. And the fact is that when we do send documents, whatever we do, they're automatically filed for you. So you know exactly where to find them. But we haven't touched on one very important part of document management, is the ability to actually create documents at the touch of a button. I'll show you how that happens. So first of all, you have to collect information from the client, and we have this area here, these tabs. Now these are custom tabs. So we have created one here that we called moving details. Okay, let's see where that's done very briefly and see how that works. So we over here in the custom tab area, and we see this name of this one, we named it moving details. So we have brought these particular tabs down in the space. How? Well, we just created one like this, and we labeled it, and what it does is shows up over here, and then you actually can move them up or down or sideways or whatever. So you can lay this out whatever way you want with these particular tabs, and you name them whatever you want so you can recognize them later. So this is part of the way to create a custom tab. Now we'll go back and show you where that is one more time. So that's over here in the particular client's file. So that's one. The other part is this information needs to flow to a template. A template is everything except that information. So let's just see what it looks like. So here's the moving estimate template, and we can see it here. You can see it now. This is the data, but that's a link for the data. We call them dynamic links. So those links, now they look pretty complicated, but you know what? They're really easy to put in because you can just create any kind of label you want here, and then you go here and here and here, and I can just grab one of those and pop it in there. You see it puts it in right at there. So it's very easy to create these naturally. We could help you with that. And we have videos on that too. The videos are in this support feedback area here. So you create the template and you name it whatever you want up here. So it's the moving estimate. So let's just show you the finished product here real quick. So we'll go back to the client and we're going to create a document. And we see the document as, well, of course you could have a whole list of them here, but we got one in here. And this is what it does. It takes that client's information and pushes it in here. And it's perfect. And we can also set this up for an electronic signature right within the system. So we save that to the client's file, and we can look here and look at the documents, and we can set it here, and we have an option to set it up for signing. So we have the capability of getting electronic signature, and it's very, very easy to use and extremely secure. And once you have it signed, it automatically comes back where the signing requests are and gives you the results, whether or not it's pending or finalized. So it all happens automatically. So you can look and see what those look like. Okay, I know it's always rather daunting to start a new software. I mean, you don't know where to go or what to do next, so let me show you something that's completely unique about OfficeSweeet. We have this area in support and feedback here, and we have video tutorials. We have pages where you can read about what to do, but this is very cool and you won't find anywhere else. You can come in here, you can create a suggestion, you can say, I wish I had a button to wash my dog. There you go. And you send that, and look what happens. We get a notification immediately to all of my team. I wish I had a button to wash my dog. No problem. And when you look back at your system, looky here, we have an instant message back. No problem. We'll get right on it. How about that for service? So there you have it. 8 fully integrated, easy to use systems in one, with one login to remember. You have a choice. You can keep doing it the old way, adding more staff and departments, or you can empower your existing staff to work as a team and go home knowing that everything is handled at the end of the day. Now, if there's only one system you need today, then there's really no good reason to continue adding single-purpose systems that don't talk to each other. With OfficeSweeet, you can use whatever you need as your business grows and have access to your business from anywhere with any device that has access to the internet. You can always talk to us about integrating your current systems with OfficeSweeet as well. Let's take a look at what others are saying about OfficeSweeet. Tom DeAngelis from Fort Myers, Florida says, As a non-techie person, I found OfficeSweeet to be the perfect enterprise business management solution for my small business. I like the fact that it's so affordable, allows me to have my entire staff connected, and I literally run everything from my iPhone while I'm traveling. Debbie Donahue from the Keep Solutions Worldwide in Tampa, Florida says, having over 20 years of administrative and financial experience, I would highly recommend having OfficeSweeet as your new partner. It allows an administrator to pay special attention to workflow status, makes it easy to communicate between staff and clients to know exactly what the status is of all projects and tasks, and be able to make sure that no steps have been missed or are late. Holly Dudley of Summerfield, Florida says, I love OfficeSweet. I was a business owner that was doing everything the old way using a pen and paper and trying to keep everything in order. The days of writing things down are over. They were also always available for tech and support needs that arose. I highly recommend using OfficeSweet. OfficeSweet, 8 fully integrated systems for the price of 1. If you feel OfficeSweet may be able to help streamline your business, I welcome you to give us a call today. Well, prices may be going up soon, so call now for current pricing to lock in your rate forever.